What are you at? It's Paul from Wicked Acorn. How often do you think about the Roman Empire? We're doing a reconnaissance video for a video about the Roman road that goes through Sale. A bit freaky to think about, isn't it? We don't usually associate Greater Manchester with the Romans, but the Romans were here. So it's just the one stop. As I was saying, the Romans is not really something you think about when you think about Sale and Greater Manchester. It's more like history starts with the Industrial Revolution, but there's a lot of history before that, of course. You know, like all of it. The Industrial Revolution was the blink of an eye ago. So here we are at Sale. So this is Sale. For those of you who haven't been here before, there's the town hall and the war memorial. So yeah, it's all very Victorian-ish in age. It's an old town, but it's not Roman Empire old. Believe it or not, a Roman road that goes through Sale, the A56, goes from Manchester to Chester, and it has several different names as it goes throughout the country. There's the fire engine, slow engine Walter, fire engine guy. Is that it? Slow walking Walter, that's it. Slow walking Walter, a fire engine guy. So this is School Road. Obviously, this isn't a Roman road, but even when I show you what was a Roman road, you're not going to think it's a Roman road, because it's been completely modernized. It's gone through many versions over the years, but it still retains its original course. And I was just saying that the road changes name several times, like you would, because it's quite a long road. It goes all the way from Manchester to Chester, and I've heard people say it's called Watling Street, although I'm pretty sure the Romans didn't call it that. They, I'm sure they had their own name on it. I should have recorded that. I just stopped and sang with the busker. We sang All My Lovin' by the Beatles. I'm sure that'll get a copyright strike. Anyway, I'm headed to the dentist, so I figured I'd take you along. We're on a reconnaissance mission today. It's not, I spend so much time making these videos that I figured I'd just put this together and take you along on some of the behind the scenes of what goes into making a video. And that includes going to the dentist and singing harmonies with buskers. So I'm actually early for the dentist, and I'm going to pop up to the tile store, because when you think about the Roman Empire, one of the things that comes to mind, that first comes to mind, is those Roman mosaics. Now, I don't remember ever hearing about Roman mosaics being found in Manchester. I don't recall ever seeing or hearing about a mosaic. Definitely going to have to check that out, because it's something, Roman mosaics. It's probably one of the first things that comes to your mind after you picture a gladiator with one of those helmets and the red horsehair on top. I'm just headed to the tile store, but I don't have time to get there and back. So I'm just gonna walk up here and show you the Roman road that we're talking about, because that's the video I'm working on, is about the Roman road up here. And we'll be going into Manchester, because that seems to be one of the YouTuber pilgrimages that have to be made, apparently, that you have to go look at the rock. And that's kind of silly, ironic for a fella who came from the rock to go to Manchester to look at a rock. And it's been described as, I can't remember the actual description, one of the most underwhelming Roman ruins or historic sites in the country, probably in the world. It's literally just a rock. And it's what's left of the fort in Manchester. There was a fort there at once. Castle Field. I guess the castle is the fort that was there. So here we are. This is the A56. And as you can see, it's fairly straight. Goes all the way into Manchester there. And very much a modern road today, isn't it? And we're just next to the Bull's Head pub here. And as I was saying, the name of the road changes many times along its length, because I guess back in the day, like Sale and Stretford are basically the same place now. I mean, there's no real interruption. Well, not really Sale and Stretford, that's not a good example, because you got the Mersey between. But Sale and Timperley and Altrincham, it's just one continuous town. But I'm sure back in the day, they were farther apart. They've grown into each other over the years. And now it's more or less all in one place. I'm sure I'll take heat for that comment, but for someone like myself who comes from Canada, when cities and towns aren't separated by 40 miles of wilderness, I can't really tell where one begins and the next one ends here in Britain. So speaking of mosaics, this is the Bull's Head pub, tavern, and check out up there, beautiful mosaic, lettering, and that's the kind of thing I'm doing. I have to go get some tiles to finish it. And is the Bull's Head Hardy's? All the pubs are associated with breweries, and I don't know anything about the breweries here. It's not something I've looked into. So I don't actually know what the Hardy's is. Probably a brewery. But yeah, what a beautiful mosaic, eh? When people took pride in their signage. You can see 1879 up there. And I don't think I've ever been in the Bull's Head. I'm not much of a pub goer these days. So yeah, this is the A56, the, what is it? I think it changes names right here, doesn't it? Washway Road and Cross Street. I think right here is where it changes names. And their section of that road was Cross Street. Oh look, here's one of my mosaics here. That's one of my mosaics. Takes a long time to make some of these videos. Recently I went to the Sail Cruising Club's open day, and I'm working on that video, and it's a difficult video to edit because I was speaking with Arthur Murray, one of the members of the cruising club there, and we had a fantastic conversation. But I think I'm going to make a couple of videos out of the conversation because it's a long conversation, but all of it's very interesting, but not all specifically related to the cruising club's open day, which is what the video is about. So editing out the bits and making it into two separate videos is very time consuming to edit. All right, we're out of the dentist, and they're all still there and all good, just a checkup. So I've forgotten where I am in this story, but we'll just go check out the Bull's Head again, because there's another mosaic on the back that you can see it much clearer. And then I'm headed to the tile store. And yeah, the Romans in this part of the world, not something we really think of, because you know, you think of Londinium and Hadrian's Wall and things like that, but of course they were all over the country. And the presence here is not really talked about much. Their presence in Greater Manchester. And as I said, I don't recall ever hearing about or seeing a mosaic that was found in Manchester. But that's not that unusual, as I was telling you about the rock, the remains of the fort in Manchester. It's it's just a rock and not much to look at. And the reason why it's just a rock and it's underneath a railway bridge. So that's another pilgrimage we'll have to make to go see the rock. It's it seems to be a YouTuber pilgrimage, and talk about how insignificant or how uninspiring it is because it's just a rock. But it's not surprising that there hasn't been a lot found, because what we do think about the history of Manchester, as I was saying, is the Industrial Revolution. And that's why there's not a lot of Roman history left to see, because it's been bulldozed or demolished, dug up. You know, the guy who put the railway bridge in, he asked the workers to save as much of the fort as they could, because I guess at the time when they were starting to build the railway, there was a lot more of the fort there to be seen, and it was all demolished and dug up and covered over, and You know, they talk about saving this little bit of the fort. It's literally a single stone, and it's a shame, but such is progress. Now, yeah, I wanted to show you this. So I don't know if these are missing tiles or what, but it's not the same, is it? That's as much as I can zoom in. But yeah, it's a nice mosaic, so I don't know if it's newly done. Considering what that one looks like, maybe it's been repaired or redone. It looks like a gold shiny tile, doesn't it, in the letters. So that's the kind of thing I do, mosaics like that, and all different kinds. And I'd really love to do something on a big scale like that. That would be a nice job to do. But I just make little 1 foot square ones that I sell at market. And that's what I'm about to do today. Someone asked me to make an I Love Manchester mosaic, and I don't have any white tiles or black tiles, so I'm headed to the tile store. I'm sure that was a lot more difficult in Roman times. You couldn't just pop over to the tile store. I wonder what the Romans were very much into using local materials for their buildings, and you'll see that obviously. I mean, you're going to use local stone when you can, when you're not shipping Venetian tiles to Manchester in the year 40, are you? So that's not. I wonder. There had to have been Roman mosaics, and again, I'm searching my mind here now, and I really can't remember seeing or hearing of a Roman mosaic in Manchester. But there had to have been, definitely. Yeah, definitely mosaics. They had them everywhere. Everywhere they went, anyone of any stature would have a mosaic tile floor in their house. Quite common. So just think about it. It's pretty crazy, isn't it, that people who knew Jesus on a first name basis could have walked this road, could have worked on this road. I think they were up this way in the 60s, 70s, in the year 60, 70, somewhere around there. He was 44. They came to the country. And so, guys of that vintage, of that, New Testament biblical times, that's when they were here. And they were here for a few hundred years, 400 or 500 years they were in this country. So yeah, they were here a long time. They were well entrenched. They built walls literally across the country, Hadrian's Wall, to keep the Scots out, or whatever the story is on that these days. The whole history of the Romans it's surprising we know as much as we do. It was such a long time ago, man. So long ago. But yeah, this was a Roman road, and we're gonna have to find out if they found any mosaics. So that's going to be some research for our video. I know a while ago we did a video about rat baiting in Manchester, and that's a blood sport. They would pit, pardon the pun, pit dogs against rats, and that was a popular sport in Manchester in, I guess, Victorian times. And when I was making that video, at the beginning of the video, I was talking about the Romans in Manchester. It all started off, I found a mouse in the house, and there was a mosaic of a mouse. Not in Manchester, but they did find, those big, what are they called, amphoras, those big jugs with the pointy bottoms. They did find, no, it wasn't, yes, sorry, it was. They found an amphora with mice bones in the bottom, in the sediment of the bottom of the amphora. And they also found an oil lamp with a mouse, not carved into it. I guess it was made from clay or something. And there was a mouse imprinted on the top. So that was found in Manchester, and they found quite a interesting stone with, I'm really searching my memory here now, a stone to, I think it was like one in a private shrine. I can't remember what god it was to, but yeah, that's probably the most significant find, was this stone with the name of some Roman god on it, and some person's name, I believe, on it as well. Now right here is the Eyebrow Cottage, and we've done video about the Eyebrow Cottage before, and need to do some work on that one, because recently the what are they called, the Ties records have come online, and I was stating that John Moore, I was surmising that John Moore didn't live here, and I really don't think he ever did. I don't think John Moore ever lived here, but it looks like he may have owned this property after Atkinson. It looks like his name is on the Ties maps of this plot of land. With this, the house would have been here at the time. And that's another video I'm working on. John Moore is an elusive character. He was at Peterloo, and it's very strange. But yeah, he's so I watched the recent movie of Peterloo, and it's a pretty good movie, and it has no John Moore in it. John Moore is not in it. His subordinate, oh God, I'm forgetting all these names now, but his subordinate is kind of like the main bad guy in the film. He's in the film, but John Moore isn't. So when the guys wrote up the arrest warrant, which kicked the whole thing off, the arrest warrant was handed to John Moore, and John Moore handed it off to his subordinate, I guess, who did the deed, went out and arrested a Need a hand there, bud? All right, we'll see you in the next one. Walking along, yammering on about John Moore, and I had not even pressed record. Well, I did, but I guess I pressed unrecord. So yeah, we're here on the old Roman road between Chester and Manchester, and I was talking about John Moore before I went into the tile store there. And thanks to the guys at Tops Tiles for getting the tiles for me. And I was talking about John Moore and Eyebrow Cottage, which we just went past there. It's just back that way. I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. And I'm not going back now because this is not a video about Eyebrow Cottage. And it's not about the Volunteer Pub either. But the Volunteer Pub is named after the Sale and Ashneupon-Mersey volunteers during the Napoleonic Wars. It was a force raised to defend against Napoleon in case Napoleon ever invaded, which of course he never did, but that force was raised to defend if the need ever arose. And John Moore was the commander of that force. In the movie, the recent movie about it, about Peterloo, called Peterloo, pretty good little flick. John Moore isn't in the movie, and he was definitely present at Peterloo. His testimony is in the inquiry after the event, and the arrest warrant for what was his name, Henry Hunt, the Speaker, was handed to John Moore, and John Moore, of course, handed it off to Constable Naden, I believe his name was. Going from memory here, so you can fact check me on these things. He's like the main bad guy in the film, and it's a historical drama, but it makes me question the validity of the film, because that's quite an error to leave this guy out in a historical film. And he's not in the film. And it makes me wonder how accurate the rest of the film is. I haven't really looked into the history of Peterloo. I've only done a little surface exploration of the history of Peterloo. So don't know a lot of the details about it, but yeah, I do know that John Moore was a commanding officer that was handed the arrest warrant. And he was the commanding officer, and he's not in the movie. Now, he didn't play a big part in Peterloo from what I do know about the incident. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff leading up to it, a lot of arrests and investigations that, like I said, in the movie, Constable Naden, I think his name is, who was under John Moore's command, is going out doing all the investigations and spying on the guys planning the event and all that. That's all I would say about that. Right. I got sidetracked again. I ran into somebody and had a conversation about something completely different, so now I've completely lost track of what I was talking about. But we were talking about the whole purpose of this is a video about the Roman road that cuts through Sale and Altrincham here. Specifically, it goes from Manchester to Chester, Watling Street, which I'm sure the Romans didn't call it that, but that's what it's known as today. And even that I find suspicious, because it goes from, way up here, way down to the south coast of England, and it changes names 3 times within a mile here in Greater Manchester. So if you like this non-scripted, just walking around talking nonsense, leave a comment. Let me know if you want to see more like this, or if you don't want to see more like this, and I'll do so. Okay, I got to get back to work. I got a mosaic to make. Not a Roman mosaic, but a mosaic, a tile mosaic nonetheless. Okay, we'll see you in the next one.